Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fisherman's Headquarters, and today is Thursday, October 7th. I'm up here on the Mid-Island Surf, taking a stroll on the beaches of LBI here. Gonna give you a little fish report update. So last night I had a good fun fishing with a couple guys from the shop, Tyler and Max. We got into some good striped bass fishing on some lures, fishing the bayside. It was good fun. There's a great showing of striped bass here the past couple weeks, and I think it's only gonna get better. I can say that some of these fish are definitely new arrivals, but some of them are residents that have been hanging around all summer. Store alumni Dan D was out yesterday evening. Also, he's been out fishing recent days. He's been catching some fish on poppers on the bayside. Yesterday, he got some good fish. I reported it previously of a really nice fish, close to 40 inches. So I guess that was a week or so back, so there's definitely some healthy ones in the mix. As far as the bay fishing goes, other than that, weak fishing is still very, very strong, and the blowfish are cracking too. Blow fishing this season has been very good. If you haven't got into that, definitely get in now while the action's still good, and see what you can do here. The fishing's been pretty good on the open bay side there, BI, BB buoy in the middle of Barnegat Bay. Also hearing good reports from the Mid-Island. Here on the bay side of Ship Bottom near the bridges, some holes here. Also down the south end to the middle grounds, say on the west side of the bay, and also right along the intercoastal, close to the backside of, say, Beach Haven, Holgate. So it's safe to say that we got some good fishing, basically stretched along the entire stretch of LBI on the bay side. And when I just mentioned those areas, that's for all three species: striped bass, weak fish, and blowfish. They may not all be in the exact same area, but it is safe to say you look along the sod banks, fish some lures that resemble a mullet, you should find some striped bass. Maybe that's a 3 or 4 inch popper. Maybe that's a smaller swimming plug. Maybe you want to fish a little rubber shad, a small jig like a bucktail, maybe a little finesse. You'll definitely also find the weak fish on some of those similar lures as well, and the blowfish are definitely more of the bait game. With all that being said, off the surf where I am right here, I have not heard reports this morning. It's definitely on the slower side. A couple reports from guys that just kind of enjoying the sunrise and the beautiful morning here. Another warm day on the beach of LBI. Water's pretty warm. Water's in the upper 60 degrees. I can share recent reports. There are some kingfish around and some small bluefish. Gene and his wife are here visiting. They come every year. They've been coming for a long time. They're from Ohio, I believe. He stops at the shop pretty regularly. Talked to him a number of times the last few days. He's reporting good fun fishing along the beach of LBI when he's been going, which is about every day. So he's been getting bluefish, but mostly kingfish. The kingfish are eating bloodworms and also fish bites. So if you're looking to get out and get some kingfish action off the surf, that's what I was just doing. Chunking or fishing whole mullet would also be a great choice. I heard of a couple out of season fluke that were caught. I heard people also complaining there's a lot of crabs around. With this warm water, you'll definitely have that issue with crabs. But there are some blues. So the mullet run's still happening. Yesterday, Wednesday the 6th, was actually the new moon. So it's a new moon in early October here. And that kind of gives you a kind of a lay of the land of kind of the situation where we're at right now in terms of the season's progression. We really haven't seen a dip in the water temperatures. There was a slow decline, but it's somewhat came up a little bit, which is sort of odd. I definitely would have never expected that, but you know, with the jet stream, how it's kind of situated, we're kind of in unseasonably warm temperatures right now. I'll take it. Like I mentioned in a previous report, you know, this October is more like the classic Septembers, which is great. You know, September is a great month here on LBI in the Jersey Shore area, but October is just as good. Normally fishing gets cranking this time because the water starts cooling off. We have a lot of cool water species like the striped bass would be the main one. Also tog, sea bass, they all like cooler water. The weak fish normally are making their exit right around now, but I think we're gonna have a couple more weeks of that. I had a really nice couple fish weighed in just the other day. I forget the guy's name, so apologize for that, but I believe it was a 6 and a 7 pounder. Him and his wife each got one, and they reported good weak fishing. Like I was mentioning is in terms of the new moon, I'll jump back to that, kind of lost track of my thoughts there. The progression here with the mullet run, normally you'll see more extreme tides, more water movement around those moons. So what you'll find is that's kind of when the bait will move too. So normally you'll see the bait either make a stage at an area or two before the moon, say between the moons. And then normally before the moon, you'll start seeing moving around a little bit more. And then on the moons, a lot of times you'll see them leave or change positions, whether they are in the back bay and they move closer to the inlets, or they're in the inlets and make a closer push to the inlet, outer part of the inlet, and then along the front beaches. Personally, myself, I have not seen an abundance of mullet along the front beaches yet. Closer to the inlets on the north end and the south end, yes, there's some mullet pushing around. I'm here in the Mid-Island Surf. I kind of check it somewhat regularly. I spend a lot of time fishing and also surfing. I haven't seen a lot of mullet mid-island. I'm not saying there isn't any. There's definitely mullet for sure moving along the beaches, but most of the mullet action is going to be in the inlet areas. So if you're looking to kind of target fishing the mullet run, looking to go catch some mullet, that's where you want to be. That will be changing here. Like I mentioned, you got the new moon yesterday, more extreme high, more extreme low tides. That's due to the moon's gravitational pull. That is what a tide is. With that said, you get more current on those more extreme tides. Current is the water's movement, most of the time left to right, as opposed to tide, which is up and down. Sometimes you can kind of be confused with the two. What is tide, what is current? Sometimes you'll see actually incoming water, but it's actually a dropping tide, which gets people kind of flip-flopped and confused. If you want to talk more about tide, current, winds, and stuff like that, definitely stop by Fisherman's Headquarters. I might even talk about it this Saturday. Just a heads up, this Saturday is the opening day of the Long Beach Island Surf Fishing Tournament. We also have a surf fishing seminar that kicks off the tournament every single year. That is at 9 a.m. in Ship Bottom at the Ship Bottom Firehouse, and that goes for a couple hours. If you want to talk about tides and currents, winds and stuff like that, definitely stop by. I would love to share my information with you. Maybe we can go back and forth with some questions and answers. I know I will be talking about circle hooks. That's really the main topic of my talk there. There'll be other anglers from fishing clubs that would be more than happy to talk to you and share some information if you're looking to say take your level from entry rookie kind of to a novice, or if you're a novice trying to go expert, or if you're an expert trying to pick up a couple tips. There's something for everyone at the seminar, so I definitely welcome you to come by. It's free. There'll be free coffee and donuts. Donuts are donated by Crust and Crumb down at Beach Haven, so shout out to them. Coffee is donated by How You Brewin' in Surf City. They also have some other locations, so shout out to them. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all the sponsor support in the Long Beach Island Surf Fishing Tournament. Once again, 9 weeks, $30 to sign up. It's going to be happening this Saturday, and it's going to continue right into December. Wanted to mention that we do have a little bit of a storm coming this weekend. We've got a low pressure down off the Carolinas. We got high pressure up to the northeast here of us, say Maine and Canada-ish area, depending on what day it is. It kind of moves a little bit. But high pressure north, low pressure to south. That means onshore winds here in New Jersey and on the beaches of LBI. Looks like it's going to crank up here on Saturday, and it's going to continue into Sunday. Looks like we have 15, 20, maybe even 30 mile per hour winds. I'm not really so sure it's going to be a full-on gale, but we'll definitely have a good blow coming along the beaches this weekend. Saturday is the Kite Festival, so it's definitely a good strong wind for the kites to be flying. But definitely know that the surf will be churned up. From what I see right now, it looks like the waves are going to be kind of in the 4 to 5, 6 foot, maybe even larger. Much different than the previous swells we've seen, however. The previous swells we saw were more long period, tropical in nature, ground swells. Long period means they're spaced out, much more powerful. A lot of times those waves are longer, left to right, stretching along the beaches. Normally more wally-like, and a lot of times they'll be packed up in like trains. There'll be sets, a number of waves together. Normally they offer very good rolling whitewater that stays around and has a residual foam, and that actually helps out, in my opinion, if you're casting lures in certain areas along the beachfront. With that said, this blow we have here is a much shorter period, more of a wind chop, shorter wind fetch, smaller fetch that generates that swell. More peaky conditions. You'll tend to see shorter waves, not as wide, not stretching beaches long, more in like the shorter, smaller sandbar spots. You'll see a wave pop up here, pop up there, a little more shifty and peaky. So hopefully that brings a little bit of information to you with regards to wind and waves. If you want to talk more about that, maybe hit me up at the seminar. Love to talk about a little bit about oceanography and some some swell kind of stuff. It's always good to kind of know what you're looking at along the beaches and see what to expect. It can help you out in planning, and also when you actually do approach the fishing situation a little differently in certain areas. So once again, it's Greg at Fisherman's Headquarters. If you're looking for any fishing information, be sure to stop by Fisherman's Headquarters. We're located in Ship Bottom upon entering LBI on the right-hand side, right after the first traffic light. Also shop online 24/7, fishermansheadquarters.com. Be sure to subscribe. Check us out also on Instagram. And for sure, check out our Fishing Report blog that I publish, fishinglbi.com. Have a great day.